all bosses here.
You saw like a steep incline on quality as soon as I stopped trying to make stuff.
Hello, DeFi Kingdoms. Welcome to Chaos Cast. Been a while since we had one, which is a real shame. So this time we have conned Beetle Dude and Hubert into joining us to talk about Hero's new clothes. How's it going, gents?
Fantastic.
Pretty good. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to subject yourself to me. I appreciate it.
Good to be out of the dungeon for a minute.
For sure.
Dungeon adjacent.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might like be on the stairs. I don't know about out though.
Yeah. Outside is a little far to walk, so
It's true. Yeah. Well, and I mean it's basically June now, so for me in Florida, I try to avoid outside now. It's too hot already.
it checks out.
But speaking of dungeons, I'm playing this game now. So, Hero's new clothes. If you are listening to this and you have not seen the many posts on Twitter that we have already done, you're probably very confused about what we're talking about, and you should go look at our Twitter. But Hero's new clothes is a art rework for the heroes in order to be able to give them more utility for, well, really all the things. Combat, yes, but also so many other things. So would one of you like to kick off on what we're gaining from this rework, why we're doing it, what utility it adds, etc.?
Sure.
Go for it, Beetle.
Sorry, Hubert. I'm gonna jump. But yeah, I mentioned it a little bit, I think, in our last AMA. Maybe the last couple of AMAs. I tend to repeat myself, and I'm always very excited, about all the things. But this one in particular is something for everyone to be excited about, in my opinion. Really, we have kind of reworked the way that heroes function from the ground up a bit. Primarily, it started with the needs for the combat testing ground and combat, where we essentially had a system before where heroes were animated with CSS in the browser, since that's what they were originally built with. Just kind of built with little hero appendage building blocks that way. And what we need to transition to is more of a game engine, game development methodology, where we essentially are building out atlases and generating heroes kind of on the fly with a single image that we can use to essentially pull them into our animation system. Which hopefully people have seen on Twitter with the new hero looks that we're showing off and the animations. All the movement that you're seeing is just stuff that would be close to impossible to replicate with our old system. So we're really opening up just a whole new set of doors with this update in that regard. And to his credit, Second Best Dad has been taking advantage of this new motion availability and been just adding all kinds of hero movement that people maybe won't expect right away. So I'm excited to show that all off. I think the new heroes in general are just looking great. They move great, and we were just commenting today on how much more performant even the hero viewer screen is with the new updates, just because we're not rendering 100 images or something per hero. So really cuts down on kind of the the hardware needs there. So that's a little bit of an explanation. There's probably more and better
That's actually
things that come out of that.
that's actually a really cool aspect that I hadn't even thought of, though, in terms of like the load time and the rendering.
Yep. So essentially, they're built in Canvas, which is hardware accelerated in the browser, which speeds things up a bit. So, yeah, technology.
Exactly what you just said made total sense. I followed all of it.
Yes, some people might.
But no, yeah, it'll also just be nice to have them as one image instead of layers, for we'll say a few reasons. There some load glitches that won't be available anymore.
Yeah, no more knights with
Yeah,
their armor stuck to their back because it wasn't like we had to code each piece individually. So there you might have seen in the combat testing grounds, I think it was the female knights had like their armor was like attached to their back, and they just had like a bare arm instead. So like problems like that are completely eliminated now that we've switched to this. So it's
but we
also a good thing.
could bring them back. If
We
people
could,
demand them. The third arm.
And, I mean, I have to
Eliminates.
imagine it's just going to take SBD's cartooning to a whole new level.
I think so. I think he's gonna get inspiration from this, which is gonna get inspiration from his cartooning, doodling. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
His masterpieces. He's gonna create a Beetle Dude hero and have him fall down like he did in Discord that one time. Jerk.
I still think that a Beetle Dude pet is needed.
I mean, we got the Beetle Hulk.
Yeah, but I need a Beetle Dude.
All right, fair enough.
Listen,
I
people
won't
need to be able to own you.
Are they not already?
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, lots of benefits coming from the rework. I mean, you two are two of the closest to combat kind of in general, really, like the whole system. So I'm really excited to see the new heroes in the combat testing grounds. I was actually playing a couple matches in the testing grounds earlier, honestly, just to build up the nostalgia for when the art changes. I was like, well, I gotta do a few more matches before that changes.
Yep, got to do your before and after.
Exactly. But I'm curious if there is a particular part of combat that like y'all are more excited for because of the new animations, other than just they will generally look better. Like, is there something that we wouldn't have been able to do, but now we will be able to do?
Let's see. So there's the concept of triggers, I think, that is built in with this new system, where the animation can trigger something else to happen, like a text scrolling up on the screen or a sound effect occurring. We can kind of build it all into the same. I'm not sure, the same set of instructions, I guess, that are used for the animations. I'm not sure what the right word to use there is, but that does also simplify things. Whereas before, with the first iteration of animations and whatnot, like everything kind of had to be custom built for like sound effects, customly timed with the animation and everything else. So I think just in general, it streamlines so much of the whole process of building out the combat system, or like the animation aspect of it. So that has me really excited.
Yep, that is a good call. And then I think it's really opened up just the ability to have weapon-based attacks, which we didn't really have before, that people, that hopefully will be able to show off soon. where based on the type of weapon that the hero is holding is going to affect the way that they move when they're just standing there, or when they're combat idling, or when they're attacking. It'll be based on which weapon they're using, since you wouldn't swing a two-handed sword the same that you would swing a one-handed sword, or wave a wand or whatever. So
Not
it's
if you
really
want to be effective.
it's true. I guess you could lift a wand like a two-handed sword, but it would maybe look a little ridiculous. Just
The heaviest wand.
a heavy wand. It's a log.
Second best dad, make it happen. We need to see it. By the way, Beetle, you are getting many compliments in chat for how good your mic sounds.
Yes. I guess I should use this for the AMAs too.
Eh,
I've been slacking, just using AirPods like an idiot. So
okay, I'm just using the built-in mic. I'm not even running headphones at this point.
dang, rebel.
Yeah, hey,
Truly chaos.
I don't want to set the standards too high so that when I need to do an AMA on the go, nobody can tell the difference.
There you go.
Smart. Do it through a potato, and no one would care. It's fine.
Sometimes this MacBook feels like potato, which is really frustrating. But speaking of the animation triggers, I believe we might have had an example of that.
Perhaps Dragon T. Cue it. Hit it. I do this a lot with Second Best Dad, and he seems to get it. So, like, show the thing. Yes.
Yeah. So this is not going to be a new class. This is one that we have already shown, but it will give you a little insight into what we are referring to.
Yeah, so you can kind of see like when he strikes with the spear, there's that little text that pops up that says hit. And I guess that's kind of what I meant, where we can have just in the, so while SBD is kind of building out the animation, he just throws that in. So like as far as like the design process goes, it's already there. We don't have to say do like extra logic on the front end side to actually display that, and we can trigger things off of that. So it really just simplifies the whole process quite a bit by having those events there.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, actually. I still love the hot pink background. I think we need to make all of them hot pink. I think we need to embrace it. But yeah, no, having the built-in response is pretty cool, and I think that should be very helpful. The main thing I took away from that GIF is that Dragoons can't miss. They only hit.
True. One hit.
Their ultimate superpower.
Yeah, Second Best Dad said in chat that they can include sound and visual effect triggers as well as information for the engine on timing. So that's pretty cool. I also really hope that our sound effects are similar to what Second Best Dad, Sam, and I made when CTG first came out. I think that was high quality.
I keep pushing that, but nobody really hasn't caught on yet.
I think we should do a governance vote for SBD mouth noises for all sound effects in game.
Right?
It's so good. Oh my god.
Gotta keep SBD busy.
Well, if we don't keep him busy, then he makes hurtful cartoons about Beetle Dude. So
right. That takes a few days to recover from, which is cuts out my time.
Cuts deep.
Yep.
Every AMA, he's just spitting them out. I don't understand. I'm convinced that he just has hundreds of them like in waiting, and is just waiting for the right opportunity to use them. That's my theory.
I believe it. I also think he uses one single artboard that he puts every picture he ever drew on.
And
Big
then
save file.
he also prints them out and puts them on a cork board in his office.
Can confirm.
So I do feel like I have to ask because, we're talking about animations, we're talking about CTG, which really means we're talking about combat. So I won't dig for any alpha yet, but I have to ask. So for me personally, with combat, I am most excited for dungeon crawling. Like that's just what I enjoy in MMOs, always have. What part of combat are y'all most looking forward to?
I'm gonna make Hubert go first.
Thinking real hard right now. I may have to, echo you. I think dungeon crawling is probably going to be the pinnacle of it all. We're going to have different forms where I think PvP is going to attract a lot of people. I guess for me personally, I'm more into the PvE aspect than PvP, but that's not to say that we're not going to make sure we're really focused on making a good PvP experience. But when it comes to dungeons, that's where we can really start to do things where it's more of an endurance match of the player between the player versus the dungeon. Whereas if it's like a one-off fight, it's maybe a little bit more straightforward. Where as a dungeon could be, a lot of different fights, choices that you have to make along the way, resource management, and then like a dungeon boss that you get to after a lot of your resources have been depleted. I think that whole experience of kind of planning and preparing and getting to that end goal is kind of the cream of the crop as far as like kind of RPG, JRPG kind of experience goes for me. So that I'm also the most excited for that.
Nice. Well, I am also. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say you have to say something else now. Whether
Dang it! Shouldn't have let Hubert go first.
That's what you get.
No, he explained it really well, so I'll allow it. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the piece that I'm most excited about is going to be the exploration piece. Just being able to adventure across the map, and whatever kind of random encounters you come up against are always exciting, interesting to me. And then just being able to there's this spot on the map with this scenario and I want to go check it out, so I'm going to send these parties over. I think that's what I'm most excited about. I know it's combat tangential, but just the amount of combat variety I think it will add is exciting to me. So yeah, I think that would be essentially the culmination of the primary game loop, having combat and adventuring travel in good to go.
most definitely. Don't worry, this whole stream is tangential, so feel
Perfect.
free to tangent whenever you want.
I'll just answer the question that I hoped you asked.
But I mean, you did, bring up travel, so I feel like we have to at least mention it. It was in the keynote in Barcelona that Dreamer did, which for anybody listening, if you haven't seen that, check YouTube. Christian Peter uploaded it. Also, Avalanche did upload the official stream. So that's on Avalanche's YouTube, which also reminds me I need to check to see if they uploaded the rest of them so I can send out links. But I'll do that after the stream. But yeah, if you haven't seen Dreamer's keynote, it's available on YouTube with Christian Peter, DFK Today, or Avalanche's YouTube channel, either one. But that was kind of our biggest mention of travel yet. So I'm just curious if either of you have any thoughts that you would care to share at this moment, or if I need to ask prying questions.
Well, I'll just say from my side of the equation, a lot of kind of the build up to travel will probably be getting a good system in place for map creation. Something we've been talking a lot about internally is how we can make it simpler to continue adding to the map as we go forward and making it pretty streamlined. In the same way that I think we're trying to take a similar method with the heroes, where we're getting a system in place that makes it simple to update and add on to. I think travel will be a similar kind of direction first, at least on speaking from the front end art side of things, I guess. And I'm sure Hubert has a lot more in his head on the mechanic implementation pieces, but that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think in addition to that, also we still in the process of working through the whole user experience of travel as well, making sure we have everything covered and trying to make it as accessible to people as we can. So there's a lot that kind of goes into that, and testing it out and whatnot, that we are still in the process of gearing up for. But with just travel in general, I think, that really does open the doors for, as Beetle mentioned earlier, the adventure part of the game, where now we can start to have things where not everyone has access to them, or you have to actually consume some of your resources, whether that's just your time, your hero's time, or if you like use mounts, you might need to pay a fee for the rent mounts to get you there. But that kind of creates a system of, like, if we do have timed events, special things that require your heroes to be in a certain location, then now there's a lot more reason for people to be logging in and checking what's going on, seeing if there's special things they want to participate in. It also allows us to have different loot drops be kind of hidden behind like more like time-based content or location-based content, which I'm really looking forward to being able to do that sort of thing, because right now with just kind of the basic quests, it's very straightforward as far as you have kind of a list of things you can expect to get, and that's not really going to change, and you just have kind of chances there. Like once we have traveling in place, then it's like, well, if you need this specific wood for your woodworking, if you make a specific bow that you're trying to make, you need to go over to this forest over there and collect wood from that and things like that. So I think once we can, that really opens up a lot of doors for us. So I'm very excited to get to that point. It's travel has been something we've been discussing for a long time. It's just kind of, and there's been a lot of prerequisites and other things that we've had to give our attention to along the way. So I'm really excited just to get to this point where we're getting our attention turned towards it.
Most definitely. Yeah. You said it. I think it was the stream you did with ADFK, maybe, if I remember right. But you said there, once we get these systems in place, once we have the combat system and the traveling system, then it's more iterating on what we have, right? Making new dungeons, making another dungeon, making a new forest, that kind of thing. That to me is super exciting. Like that'll be a lot of fun, I think.
Right. Yeah, we're still kind of building the skeleton of the game, but once we have all the bones in place, then it's just adding meat, and I think that really will kind of change our whole process and make things be able to be a lot more straightforward, unless there's some other new piece of content we start focusing on. But I think for a good while, at least, once we get those features out, we'll be mostly focused on just creating content within those confines, which I think will be really, really great for just our workflow and just being able to make something that was really exciting for people.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Also, I will be petitioning to let me design a dungeon. It'll be horrible, and I'm so excited. It will be the unbeatable dungeon. Like it'll just be so stupid. There's a question in the chat. If our hero party travels, will it have chances to have a random encounter on the way somewhere? Is that feasible in an on-chain movement system?
I think it's feasible. I think we do have kind of, I have a certain path in mind for random encounters that might not be exactly what people are thinking. Just more based on the destination and like what if you want to do something in the destination, you kind of have to see if you encounter something, whereas travel itself may have less limitations, just like going from one place to another. But we have options, and I think there's, as we expand the map right now, like the map around Sarandale is a fairly peaceful looking area. There's just a bunch of lands out there and paths kind of going around, and there's a few ominous looking dungeon type places. But in general, there's nothing there. It's like, oh man, this is like Mordor over here. Like we don't have a Mordor yet. So like once we get start expanding out the map more, I think we could have regions that are just unsafe to travel within completely. And so I guess one thing with it being on chain is we have to be considerate of like how many transactions are involved in the whole process. So like if you're going in like between kind of mostly peaceful areas on the map, if we had like people have to do a transaction every single time they went from one region to the next, I think that might be a little tedious for people. So I think we would need to be considerate about like where we do use it and where we don't. So kind of a non-answer there, I guess, but
No, that's fair. You did say the word lands, but I'll let you off the hook for at least a few minutes. But no, I mean, it's definitely, always a consideration for transactions. It's a little, it can be disruptive depending on how it's done. So making sure that it's done in a non-disruptive way. But I liked the fact that the yet was in there on having a Mordor. And that's like, there's so much potential. There's so many opportunities. There's so many directions. And it's only going to keep getting better. Somebody in Discord a few weeks ago now, maybe a few months, I don't know, time doesn't exist, but somebody in Discord kind of described it, DFK, in a way that I thought really rang true. And your analogy about building the bones and then adding the meat reminded me of it, of, building a skyscraper. And right now we're working on the end of the foundation, and then we start building the floors.
Yep.
But you can't build it without the foundation or it crumbles.
Exactly.
Yes, I like building the airplane while it's flying because that's what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's about as accurate as it can get. Ooh. Let's see. So Starbuck, how much emphasis is being placed on the mobile gaming aspect of combat? I mean, if either of you two want to chime in, obviously more than welcome. I will just say that even from the outside of the dev perspective, mobile is always on our mind. It's just a matter of figuring out how it'll work. And one of the largest mobile providers has some very problematic policies. I'll just leave it at that. But Beetle Dude or Hubert, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we realize that the majority of users on the internet nowadays are mobile. So it's definitely a priority. The current version, we're thinking through the best way to do that. There's specific mobile wallet apps that aren't super conducive to the structure that we're looking for. So there might be, there might end up being solutions to that particular issue first, which would lead to hopefully making the mobile experience a better one. But either way, I think we'll be taking a look at the current mobile experience and getting that up to snuff, along with all the other stuff that we're working on. So yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add there. I think that's a lot more in Beetle's wheelhouse since he's kind of the guy that has to do it all. So I'm sure sometimes you probably groan when you see some of the things that we're trying to do. It's like, I'll do that on mobile too.
Right? It'd be so easy. I need everybody to get a really big monitor, and a desktop, so you can't move.
That or we all have to go to oh crap, Samsung has some giant phone, but now I forgot the name of it. But
There you go. Yes,
get those 14-inch mobile screens.
exactly.
Uh, here's a question for you, Hubert, that you may or may not answer. It's land tangential. In terms of the map, do you envision the map being like the city, the capital, potentially other cities, and the lands, or do you envision it as there's map past the lands?
As in land, like areas on the map that do not contain lands, but people can travel to.
Yes.
That's something I would certainly like us to have. I don't know that we've gotten to the point, where we're at this stage. It's still kind of in the state where we can decide, I guess, one way or the other. But yeah, I think as a matter of just like having, it'd be kind of weird to go to Mordor and be like, yeah, I got my city over there, and just don't mind the orcs,
I would like to own the land plot on Mordor, though.
It's right next to Mountain
Right?
Dew. There's volcanoes. It kind of sucks sometimes. It's cool though.
I think I could build a great blacksmithing on Mordor. Like, I'm just saying, it's been proven. You can get some really powerful stuff.
Make some efficient use out of the geothermal power there.
Exactly.
So yeah, maybe, I guess, is the answer to that question. I think we're gonna have to make a lot of more progress before we determine whether or not we actually have any areas where there aren't lands but are places to travel to. But my preference would be to have places that don't have lands that people can travel to.
We still have plenty of land to go.
Yeah, we do. So
just throwing that out there. Oh, we could debate the environmental sciences of Mordor. That is true. Let's see. Hubert, just because it was mentioned in chat, and feel free to not answer it, but I'm going to throw it out there for you anyway. Is the current plan for land tournaments to use duels or an early version of PvP, or neither?
So likely not duels. The early version of PvP is possible, but it kind of depends on where we are once we can focus on that. If we do have the combat system mostly in place by then, I think we would just do it as a combat type of thing. What we had initially kind of talked through when we first talked about land tournaments way back during the Perilous Journey times was a kind of precursor to the combat system. And, had our development path not been kind of disrupted by the events of the time, that likely would have been what happened. But, now we're kind of in a different situation, and I kind of want to leave it open until we're to the point where that's what we're focusing on, because until we're really focusing on it, we're more focused on, something else, and kind of hard to have too many different parallel development paths going at once.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. That was also a very polite way to put it at our development path. Oh, yeah, been a great year.
Yeah.
Hang on, sorry. Now I want to check something. I'll find it in a minute. Anyway, SBD's been sending Dragon Tea doodles to put on screen, and every time I flip back, there's some new image. Ooh, but that one's chicken. Yes, chicken kicking. You know what?
Share 'em,
Kickbach.
you know?
SPD has been spearheading kickbach ever since he thought of it.
I want to kick chickens so badly in this game.
They're called Bok Bok, sir.
That's fine. I will call them Bok Box if I get to kick them. I don't think it's asking that much. I just want to kick them.
You know?
I guess
Been
I
waiting
stand
for this.
corrected. This was Beetle's idea to have kickbach. So
Yes, I did add the Bok Bok lore that included Kickbok. Will I regret it? Maybe. Time will tell.
Oh man, it makes me think of Fable and like such a good game.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's go completely off topic for a minute. It's no secret, I've mentioned it many times over the course of the last 3 days that I got Breath of the Wild and have just been obsessively playing it for 3 days. But what, and I'm betting I know Hubert's answer, but Beetle, I don't know if I know yours. And maybe I'm wrong about Hubert too. What is like your favorite MMO from any time from life thus far?
I hope I know Hubert's answer. I know he has an answer.
I do have. Well, actually, I'm debating right now. But you were asked first, so we're waiting for
Oh
you.
man.
Well, I think about if I've changed my mind yet or not.
I was just answering the question I wish Bolon had asked. Well, Bolon, I'm an old man now, and I am locked in the dungeon most nights, so I don't get to MMO as much as I used to. But I was raised on the WoW MMO.
Okay.
So I know it's a pretty generic answer, but that's probably the one that affected me the most.
But which expansion?
I said I was an old man. This is like classic WoW.
Okay. Hey,
Like,
that's even better. I mean, it's so good they tried to go back to it.
right. It was too late.
It was too late.
I guess should I jump in with mine now?
Do it.
Did you pick which Final Fantasy?
I think I did. Yeah, which Final Fantasy? And yes, it was one of the Final Fantasies.
14.
No, 11 actually.
All right.
I do really like 14 a lot, and that's the one I've been currently playing, and I think they've done a lot of great things with it. However, there were aspects of 11 that they decided to go away from, I think, probably to kind of cater to a larger audience, which is fine. A lot of people do that. Just for the things that I'm looking for in a game is challenge and diversity, and I think with 14, something that's happened is most of the damage dealing classes are very similar in how they play, and there's really not a reason why you'd care which damage dealers you have really for anything that you're doing pretty much. However, like in 11, it did matter quite a lot, like what your party makeup was, to the point that, like, for me, I played during the early days. I know a lot changed kind of near the end that I didn't experience, but when I was playing, the level cap was 75, and I played up until I think it's Wings of Alexander expansion is what it was called, came out. But my favorite expansion was Chains of Promathia, which was like the first one that kind of came out on its own. It's really the second expansion, but the first expansion was like built in from the start. And in that, like, the main storyline for that had level caps. So you had to be able to do like level 30 content. You could only equip level 30 gear. There was no item syncing or anything. You had to have everything prepared to do these things. And they had the difficulty level turned up really high on pretty much everything. And there was a kind of a consensus that Monk was not effective at getting through the main story content, and people should play other things than Monk to do it. And I kind of set it on. It's like, I don't believe you guys. It's just requires extra planning and people being more coordinated. And so I had kind of a static party that I used, that I built, and kind of had to wrangle through 5 other people all the time to like get specific times that we could do stuff. But we did it. We had a summoner, we had my monk, we had, you know, a few other classes, and it was always about, like, the other thing that 11 had that 14 doesn't was the concept of like ultimate abilities, where you could use it once every 2 hours and then you're done. So, and those were really like used, if you use them strategically, you could overcome some pretty crazy odds. So like the whole kind of like 11 was slow. It had a lot of emphasis on doing things as a group. It was very hard to do anything by yourself, and you spent a long amount of time waiting to get people to do things with you, and you had to, like, you know, had to shout in the cities to see if someone would be willing to help, and you know, join different groups. It was a huge pain. It's a huge pain to be able to get things done, and I hated and loved it. Now in 14, everything is super streamlined. If you want to do like a dungeon, you just queue up for it. It'll find random people. Nobody talks to each other. Nobody cares about anyone else, and everyone's just doing their own little experience. And that's fine. That's fun. It's fun. But like the experience of like really having a true community of 11, and that was kind of during my young, just graduated from high school times. Like it had a permanent effect on my life, not to mention that I have like 500 days worth of playtime in it. So yeah, long answer, sorry.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, I definitely agree, like on the grouping thing, you know, yeah, just getting like automatically match made, it's no fun. Like I still can't see LFG without looking for group. Like that's what that means.
That's what I see too, yeah.
I don't know what people try to say today. That's what it means.
Right.
Yeah, I need y'all to just go back and play Ultima Online, which I'm not even sure you can play anymore, but I need y'all to find a way. Such a good game. And it saddens me that neither of you have played it. And Pinecone can vouch for me here. He appreciates it as well. But it was an amazing game. That said, Hubert, you and I talked about this a little bit already, but Breath of the Wild, fantastic. Been very impressed.
There was a great one, yeah.
I mean, the level of open world that it takes, it is incredible. It's impressive. So I'm very excited to finish it probably in the next like 2 days, and then play Tears of the Kingdom. So, you know, we're getting there.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is just how full the world is. Like it's this big open world, but there's stuff everywhere. Like every corner, like there's incentive to look around every corner and check every tree and do all these things.
Yes.
You know, mostly it's Karaoke season. A lot of people don't care about those, and there's really not a big reason to care about them, but I care, and that's the thing that, like, I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom right now, and I'm like 30-ish hours in. I haven't been able to put in as much time as I'd like, but I got like 170 Karaoke seeds at this point, and that's kind of the thing that I'm paying the most attention to. So
just do like I've been doing and stop sleeping.
I have been doing a little bit of that too. It's been not that great.
No, I ended up last night. It was like, I don't know, like a little after midnight, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop working. I'm gonna play a little Zelda. I'm gonna go to bed. And then it was 8:30 in the morning, and I was like, oh, I should really go to bed. This is
bad. It's so easy to just look beyond the thing you just barely got to, right? It's like, oh, I just did the shrine. What's over there to the right? There's this, I see something glowing over there. And then like, oh, there's a whole group of monsters. I'll kill them. It's like, oh, behind them's a chest. And, oh, wait, I see something over there. And it just keeps going.
It does. You get lost. Like at one point I was like, oh, like I had to have done that shrine in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. No, it was like 15, 20. Go. Okay. But yeah, I think that's, one of the things they've done so well is the struggle with open world games is always like direction without forcing. And I mean, there's options everywhere. So you just pick a place and go. Like it is cool. Your timing on the Karoks was impressive because Sashay said in chat that I'm pretending I finished without finding all 900 Karoks without a guide. I'm not going to find all 900 Karoks. I think I found I don't know, probably 15 or so. But I like finding them, and I make sure to keep an eye out for weird random stuff that might be a Karok, but I'm not going to go hunting for them. But
there is an item you can get in Breath of the Wild that will, if you have it, it will help you find them. But it doesn't tell you exactly where they are, but it helps. And I used that when I did my last playthrough. And I assume you have the expansion content as well. So if you make it through all that expansion stuff and get what you get at the end of that, I think that also helps immensely in the hunt for Karoks, but I don't want to say what it is.
No, that's exciting.
The dowsing rod. Bolon.
Get the dowsing rod.
Karok dowsing rod.
Yes. So there was a comment earlier that I meant to bring up and completely forgot, and then I remembered, so I went and found it. So completely switching gears again for a minute and going back to Hero's New Clothes for a moment, and then we can go off the wall again. The one and only Mellow Green Giant, when we were talking about what we were most excited for, said that he's most excited for PVH, player versus hero. This is where I annoyingly click on my hero inside the card and it reacts with animations. And I would be sad.
No, don't let him hear it.
That needs to be a thing.
He just pivoted again. He's making more animations.
He'll have it done by the time we're done with this cast.
That's true. That's a good point.
We could just throw in the getting hit animation. If you just click your hero, it's like you hit him.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Dungeon Keeper. If you guys ever played that game, where you can slap your minions.
Exactly. Yeah, you just get a little reaction like they're getting poked by God. Just
I like Roller Coaster Tycoon, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, it would be really fun if within the card I could pick them up and then drop them.
Put them in the ocean. The lagoon.
Like, oh, you have a waterfall in your background. Go swimming.
We're getting there. DFK Unreal Engine.
Yes, there we go. No, on the topic of the rework, I am really excited to see it in action. Obviously, I've seen a couple of sneak peeks, and then we've been putting out sneak peeks on Twitter. But I am very, very much excited for what it brings, and it adds a depth that shouldn't be discounted either. That's a lot of fun to see. It makes opening the hero viewer that much more engaging.
Yep, makes it feel a lot more game-like than ever before.
I need more purple in my hero viewer, though. If y'all could help me out with that, that'd be great.
Wizards, man. Purple robes.
No, cards. I need purple cards.
Take what you can get, man.
True. That's another one actually that Hubert's answer is Monk. I am a devout Dark Knight maxi, but Beetle, have you ever revealed your favorite class? Not necessarily talking about the animations, just in general, what your favorite class is.
Yeah, I think I revealed it in the last AMA, but it was based on the new animations, so it's definitely Dragoon.
Okay.
Dragoon for me.
I wasn't
Which
sure if that was the animation or if that was also.
it was the animation. I may have found myself more enticed by the beautiful animation.
Yeah, the rework of the appearance is also, I think that's probably one of the best upgrades.
Yeah. And then I don't know, man. I'm always partial to berserkers.
Nice.
Just because they're unique and cool and
Got a big axe.
bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Which really resonates with me, you know. If anybody knows me, that's definitely what I'm into.
I would describe you as bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like an accurate description.
It's true.
Yeah.
Bloodthirsty beetle.
I remember like the first time that I saw Berserker, leading up to the expansion. It's a cool class. Like, it's a really cool looking class.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Which, for anybody who has not seen it, I believe Berserker went out yesterday or today. Today, I think it was today. It was today. Yes. So if you have not seen the updated Berserker, it still looks like an absolute beast. And that is live on our Twitter now. So yeah, definitely, like I said at the beginning, if you have not been paying attention to the tweets, you should be. There's also a giveaway attached to every one of them. So, try to win the giveaway, I guess. But also just get some pretty cool looks at some of the new art that's coming. There's also some more new art that will be coming that we have not shown yet that I'm also very excited for, and I'm just gonna let that hang and make everybody suffer with me. Win, Ninja, and Sage. They're coming. I started to say soon and caught myself. No, they're definitely coming. We're gonna get through every class. Let's see where are we at on that. Actually, yeah, they should be pretty close to soon. Actually, because we're getting close to finished with the basic classes. We also did the Berserker, or not the Berserker, but the Dragoon already. So we might mix some advanced in there. We might mix it up. Might get wild and crazy. We don't have to necessarily follow the order.
This is getting too wild. I will say I really like the new Sage design too. That one's really great.
Yes, rub it in. I like it.
Yes. You guys wish you could see it. Soon enough.
Soon enough, indeed. No, it's definitely, I mean, at this point, realistically, they're all going to be soon enough. They're all within the next, 10, 11 days. I think we're about halfway there. So definitely looking forward to that. Also, while you're both here, I would be remiss to not again say kudos, congratulations, well done, and whatever else on the Hero's Best Friend patch. That was a massive undertaking, and I mean, everything just went really, really well. So can't ask for more than that.
Thanks, Bolon. Yeah, yeah, it was a huge initiative. The whole team was involved, so props to everybody who contributed there.
For sure. And I guess we'll extend the props to second best dad for Hero's new pants, I guess, but can't give him too much credit. It goes to his head.
Yeah, I mean, I will say working on the pet patch while second best dad worked on the art updates was very nice. We were able to kind of tackle them at the same time almost. So thanks, Pet Patch. kind of covered for this other really nice needed feature.
Opening the doors for the future.
Exactly.
No, very much excited. I really appreciate y'all taking the time to come on here and talk about the patch and kind of the reasoning behind it and some of the utility that's coming from it, as well as the other random topics that sprung into my brain. But really do appreciate y'all doing this and taking the time to talk to us. And anything y'all want to add, and then we can go ahead and wrap this up.
Tears of the Kingdom is better than Breath of the Wild.
Gonna start a riot. No, I'm sure everyone agrees.
Seems like
I guess on my end, just reiterate that I am also very stoked about this upcoming patch. I think there's just so many more things that we can do with it, and we're really, SPD keeps popping up with, what if we did this? What if we did this? Because we just kind of opened the floodgates to a bunch of new things that we could do, which is exciting.
when he does that, has he already done them?
In some cases.
Yeah, it's like it'll take me another hour to finish this, and that's it.
And the man is
All
so
right.
fast. He is so fast at what he does. It's crazy.
Yes, he's a monster for sure. So we'll have to put him in a dungeon and let players defeat him.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. We will be live again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern for our AMA of the week. So don't worry, y'all get to talk to me again soon, and I'll pester you some more.
Alrighty.
Hooray! There's more questions. What the heck?
Oh, always.
Dang.
Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Thank you, everybody who will listen to it later, and we will catch y'all next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
Bolo.
everyone.